Marcus had made a terrible mistake, and he knew it the moment Yuki's amber eyes widened with what could only be described as predatory delight. "Puppies?" she had whispered, her fox ears twitching forward with intense focus. "You mean kits?" That had been 3 days ago. 3 days since Marcus had accidentally mentioned, in a moment of flustered panic, that human-kitsune hybrid offspring were theoretically possible according to the Galactic Biological Compatibility Index. 3 days since his life had become exponentially more complicated. The morning started innocently enough. Marcus was preparing his coffee in their shared apartment aboard the orbital station Kepler 7, trying to pretend everything was normal. The station hummed with its usual cacophony of alien species going about their business. But inside apartment 4187, tension crackled like static electricity. Yuki emerged from her room, wearing what Marcus had come to recognize as her serious business outfit, a sleek adaptive suit that highlighted her lithe figure and somehow made her 9 fluffy tails look even more magnificent. Her fox ears were positioned in that particular forward-facing angle that meant she had been planning something. "We need to talk," she announced, gracefully leaping over the couch to land directly in his lap, nearly causing him to spill his coffee. "Yuki, we've discussed the lap-sitting thing," Marcus said weakly, though he no longer tried to move her. He'd learned that was futile. The kitsune woman had decided his lap was her preferred seating arrangement, and kitsune were notoriously stubborn once they'd made up their minds about something. "I've done research," she continued, pulling out a holographic data pad. Her tails swished excitedly, several of them wrapping loosely around his torso in what she probably thought was a subtle gesture. Human-kitsune pair bonding rituals compatibility studies even consulted with the station's xenobiologist. Marcus felt his face heat up. "Yuki, I was joking about the—" "I know you think you were," she interrupted, turning to face him directly, her nose nearly touching his. "But humans have this fascinating thing called subconscious desires. Your body language, your elevated heart rate when I'm near, the way your pupils dilate, that's just biology." "Involuntary responses." "Exactly." Yuki's ears perked up triumphantly. "Your biology is responding to mine. Do you know how rare that is in the galaxy? Most species can barely tolerate each other's pheromones. The Kravik get nauseous around humans. The Selnari find your body temperature disturbing. But kitsune and humans?" She pressed a paw-like hand to his chest. "Perfect compatibility." Marcus tried to formulate a coherent argument, but Yuki's earnest expression was making it difficult. When she'd first moved in 6 months ago, a random roommate assignment by the station's housing authority, he'd been terrified. Kitsune had a reputation across the galaxy as tricky, manipulative beings who delighted in causing chaos. But Yuki had been different. Sweet, considerate, with a sense of humor that matched his own. The lap-sitting had started innocently. She claimed her species found human body heat particularly comforting. Then came the tail wrapping, the ear nuzzling, the way she'd started referring to the apartment as our den. He'd been in denial about what it all meant. The xenobiologist said something interesting, Yuki continued, pulling up charts and diagrams that Marcus couldn't focus on because her tails kept brushing against his face. Humans are one of only 3 species in known space that kitsune can successfully bond with, and we're the only ones they find genuinely attractive. That seems like suspiciously convenient information, Marcus managed. Yuki's expression softened. "I know I'm being aggressive about this. It's cultural. Kitsune court differently than humans. We decide what we want and pursue it relentlessly. But—" She hesitated, vulnerability flickering across her face. "I need to know if you feel anything. Because if you don't, I'll stop. I'll move out. We can pretend this never happened." The apartment suddenly felt very quiet. Outside the window, ships drifted past the station in their regular patterns. Somewhere down the corridor, a Mytherian was arguing with a vending machine. Normal station life continued while Marcus's world narrowed to amber eyes and the soft weight of a foxwoman in his lap. "I'm terrified," Marcus admitted finally. "Your species lives for centuries. I'll be gone in less than one. You're talking about kits, children, and I'm just a maintenance technician who can barely keep his own succulents alive. This is insane." "Insane is humanity's specialty," Yuki countered with a small smile. "I've read your species' history. Insane is climbing into metal tubes and throwing yourselves into space. Insane is befriending species that could eat you. Insane is building stations like this where 1,000 different life forms live together. Her tails tightened gently around him. Humans don't let impossible odds stop them. It's why the galaxy respects you. It's why She stopped, ears flattening slightly. Why you what? Marcus prompted. Why I love you, you dense, wonderful human. The words hung in the air between them. One of Yuki's tails flicked nervously, the only sign of her anxiety. Marcus found himself laughing, a slightly hysterical sound that made Yuki's ears perk up in confusion. What's funny? I'm going to do it, he said, surprising himself. I'm going to date a foxwoman who sits in my lap, wants to have kits with me, and apparently researched our biological compatibility with academic thoroughness. Is that a yes? Yuki's voice was barely a whisper. That's a let's start with dinner and see where this goes, Marcus clarified. No kits until at least the third date. Yuki's entire face lit up, all 9 tails erupting into joyful motion. She threw her arms around his neck, nearly knocking them both off the chair. Third date. I can work with third date. Yuki, that was a joke. Too late. You've agreed. No takebacks? She was grinning now, that mischievous fox expression he'd come to associate with her scheming. I'm planning the menu right now. Do you like Terran-style cuisine, or should we try that new fusion place on Deck 12? As she chattered excitedly about date possibilities still firmly planted in his lap, Marcus realized something fundamental about humanity's place in the galaxy. They'd survived first contact, built interstellar civilizations, and earned respect through sheer stubborn determination. But apparently, they were also absolutely hopeless when a cute alien decided they were worth pursuing. And honestly, Marcus was okay with that. Outside the window, the stars continued their eternal dance, witnesses to yet another impossible thing humanity was about to attempt, making it work.